on the drive, goes inside the floor. Turn him over again. Booker scoops it up. Booker brings the boom.
Little special edition NBA Hardwood show up through lock with my man Big T here on a day where we got the DK Millie. I know my boys got some tickets into that Millie. Big T, you ready to ship this thing?
Yes, I am. I'm owning the chat too, because when we started Run Pure Sports 5 years ago now, we said if we want to go on at 6:17, we'll go on at 6:17. If we want to go on at 6:23, we'll go on at 6:23. When did we become like Nazis? Are we allowed to say Nazis on the show? When did we become Nazis with when the show starts? The show starts when we're on here giving winners. It doesn't matter what the freaking website says. It starts when we're here.
Yeah, I mean, shit, the boss is on. So, I mean, no one can tell us what to do. I mean, the boss is standing right here. So, I mean, we can go on at 6:49 if we wanted to and talk for 11 minutes up to lock. It wouldn't matter what we do.
Too, because everyone makes fun of my voice. It's because I freaking yell all weekend, and then I don't have a voice Monday through Wednesday, and then everyone makes fun of me.
Chat, the guy, he's taken down, 12U AAU tournaments. He's coach of the year right now. He screams at the kids nonstop. I'm sure he screams at his son more than anyone else. So, I mean, that's what he's doing.
Yell at the refs. I mean, you got things you got to do.
I would totally tee your ass up if I was a fucking ref. I would definitely.
No chance.
I would love it, and then just for fun, I just want to give it to you, throw it right in your face, and just yeah. I wouldn't actually care, but I'd want to give you the tech just to laugh. But no, definitely not a softie here. But your voice, you gotta like take a second, maybe take a swig of water, get it all back together, and you'll come through. You'll come through at the end of the day.
I mean, I'll battle through. I just don't appreciate people saying I was putting stuff down my throat. It's not true. I was not doing that.
All right. No extracurricular activities for Big T.
I do have ice cold water, though. Look at that ice in my water.
Ooh, look at that ice in your water.
Do you have so good cold?
Do you have electrolytes in that water?
Just water right now. Just water, baby. No ice cold water, though.
Big Swallow 44, Mangone said. Oh, geez. Mangone, you would come up with that one. Jeez. Unreal. You're getting it from all sides today, Big T. Normally it's me who takes the brunt of the pain and stuff like that, but it's you today. Just because of the voice?
Yeah, I mean, they're being mean. They're being very mean to me.
Dude, I would let me tell you right now, I would love to put those middle school rugrats in their place. Nothing's worse. I'm telling you this right now. I've coached every age. I've worked with, kids in the gym, young kids, older kids. Nothing is worse than middle school kids. They are the worst of the worst of any age group. I would rather teach basketball to like 5-6-year-olds who can't even dribble and just dribble it off their leg constantly than teach middle school kids. Middle school boys and girls are the worst. That's the worst age by far. So yeah, I would love to be a middle school ref. I'd just throw kids out nonstop. Get out of the gym. Be throwing kids out all day. I'd love that shit. JSU don't know ball. I mean, we all know that's not fucking true. I mean, I don't know a lot of things. The one thing I do know is fucking ball. That's like the Big T out of like everything you could say I don't know shit about. It's like the only thing I might actually know something about is ball.
Yeah, they should make fun of your food takes.
Yeah, 100%. Make fun of my food takes, coffee, water, warm water with no ice, and I'm drinking it out of like a like a drink cup right now. I mean, make fun of that stuff. Don't get me for not knowing ball. That's like the only thing I know. I definitely don't know golf takes. I mean, I spit off the cuff when it comes to golf, but that's just for fun. What food you eat? I don't know, James. Today I made myself today I made myself a little sandwich, Big T. It was pretty good, actually. It was rotisserie chicken, mixed in some like garlic and pepper and salt and stuff like that. And then I put some avocado on that bitch and a little chipotle mayo. Bam.
Sounds terrible.
Wait, really? That sounds terrible?
No, I actually just wanted to make fun of you.
Oh, I was gonna say I actually tried with that meal too, and I made some sweet. I cut up some sweet potatoes, made some like sweet potato, fries in the air fryer, fried them up, and yeah, it was good.
The only bad part too was the avocado for sure. I'm out on the avocado.
You don't like avocado?
Definitely not.
Really? I love avocado. It's so good for you too. You need some healthy fat in your diet, Big T. That's a good healthy fat for you. Need some avocado in your life. See, even Rizzo's. Thank you. Sounds fire. I try too. Normally my wife cooks, but she's working, and she doesn't come home until a little later.
No greens. No greens. One of my favorite things was during COVID when we played the "What Would Big T Eat" game with draft sheet. That was one of my favorites.
There was baby spinach too. I forgot to say
baby spinach. It's getting worse by the minute. Baby spinach as opposed to what? Daddy spinach? What's baby spinach?
Like the spinach, just like
spinach. I mean, it was fine. You started with rotisserie chicken, which is decent.
I thought I said that. My bad, Chad. little spinach in there too. Yeah. You lost me.
You definitely left that out on purpose. You were enjoying having the chat on your side.
I was actually enjoying having the chat on my side for once when it came to food. I was actually enjoying. I'll tell you right now, though, it looked pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It looked pretty good. That's all I'm going to say. So spinach is good. Dub KJ, you are one of my favorites. Spinach is good for the shaft. Let him know, Dub K. That might be the only way Tony would eat some spinach. That might be the only way to get him.
I don't need help.
Yeah, but one day you might. You never know. One day you might.
It's true. That's true.
All right. We did come on a little later. Jack got on Big T. We don't appreciate that because we can come on whatever the fuck we want. Mm-hmm. But we do have some winners to pick. There's a milli up top on DraftKings. I think it's a 3K, 3333 tournament. If you're in that, we just got some news. Cade Cunningham's out. So Big T, I'm sure that's going to shake the slate up just a tad. So a lot of news here. No Steph Curry tonight. Jimmy Butler's going back to Miami. Andrew Wiggins getting to play his old team. Both those guys have been playing actually really, really good too on top of it. You got no John Morant for Memphis, Big T. How do you want to do this? Do you just want to run through each game real quick, or do you want to go position by position? We got 30 minutes till what?
The games, roll through it quick.
All right, we'll roll through it quick here. We'll roll through it quick here. We'll get everything up. Orlando, Charlotte, first game up on the docket here. Orlando on the back end of a back-to-back, just playing the Lakers, which they did get up for, Big T, and smack the Lakers. I don't know if you got to watch any of that game, but they came to play. And I think it was Anthony Black said after the game, they're like, yeah, we were a little hyped. LeBron coming to Orlando and stuff. Like, we were a little, I can imagine for like all those young guys that like idolized LeBron as they were kids watching him. Cause obviously like LeBron's been in the league for 20 billion years. So those kids were like 5 when LeBron got in the league. Playing LeBron has got to be pretty cool for a lot of like those young kids. So like Anthony Black, Paolo, Franz, all those guys. But now they
respect greatness. Of course they're looking forward to it.
Yeah, they respect great players. I wouldn't say greatness. They respect great players.
They respect greatness. They're a witness.
Did you watch Corey Joseph get your boy in the lockbox? He had him in the lockbox. Did you see Corey Joseph just D up LeBron, by the way? You didn't see my tweet. You definitely didn't see my tweet because you would have responded with something
No, I
snarky.
ignore your LeBron tweets.
He traveled on. First of all, this
Oh
guy
my
gets to make up moves because he's got no bag, and then he gets to get away with traveling nonstop.
He's got no bag.
It was worse than the college dude who hit the game winner but took 5 billion steps. Who was it? Maryland? Was it Maryland, Tony? The game-winning shot? The dude who went left? Yeah. Yeah, okay. See, I watched it a little bit, but I'm just saying, he fucking traveled. That's a travel in every set. Like, how is that not called? It was the obvious travel, and then LeBron does some bullshit. LeBron's the reason why these kids in college are traveling and doing bullshit. I blame LeBron.
You're blaming him for the people traveling in college now. Only you can blame that on LeBron.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Traveled. You're the only one in the world like, I blame LeBron for that travel.
All right. Let's get away from that because I could talk about it for a while. But this game here, Tony, I doubt you're going to have much appeal. Charlotte's pretty much healthy outside of Cole Anthony, who's out for Orlando. I mean, maybe Anthony Black at 3.8 or spending up for a Franz or Apollo could be something you could do. But what do you see here?
Yeah, definitely not Charlotte. And again, like playing them big Millie tonight, I'm going to be trying to dial it into two teams and trying to really lock into upside just because it's first place. You're playing for the top. So I definitely think you got to have Paulo in the pool, though. He's clearly got upside versus Charlotte. I know it's on a back-to-back. I know he busted last night, but Franz had a good game last night. Maybe tonight's Paulo. Anthony Black, I think you could leave in your player pool, but as far as me, there's just too much out there. I don't need to play a guy in the first game unless it's a great play, especially now that some value is going to open up in Detroit and other spots. So really it's just Paulo for me in this spot. I mean, Wendell, you can leave him in there if you want. Anthony Black, you can leave it in. I'm just not a Franz guy. I know he went off. I just don't see the upside. He was really good yesterday, still barely. I don't know. I'm just not a Franz guy. Some of these teams, you play either one or the other. I just always like Paulo better. So that's where I'm at tonight as far as this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think on a different slate, maybe I'd have a little more interest. For me, it's Paulo or Anthony Black or move on. I don't see anything in Charlotte, so I think we can just move to the next game, which, conveniently, we just got the news with Cade Cunningham out, Tony, so I'm sure a lot of people want to talk about it anyways. Let's get to it. San Antonio and Detroit. Stephen Castle is ruled in for San Antonio. Cade Cunningham ruled out for Detroit here. I don't know if we got, I'm going to look right now. I don't know if we got the starting lineup. Let's see here. I don't see the starting lineup. I do see the Spurs starting lineup: Paul, Castle, Vassell, Barnes, and Biyombo. So that takes out Shohan for me. Still waiting on Detroit, it looks like. We should get that, though, any second. So while we're waiting on Detroit, Tony, I mean, we saw Ron Holland at no ownership last game with this situation kind of crush. Malik Beasley, who's been awesome this year and in spots like this has really kind of ticked up his game and had some big games here. He's 5,300, so not like a crazy discount on him. You got Dennis Schroeder, who's 4,700, played 35 minutes last game. And Marcus Sasser behind him, who's 3,300. I know you like these cheap guys, played 26 minutes. A lot of cheap guys that you could make the case for. I can't see all these guys getting there, but you have to think two of these guys at least get there.
Yeah, and it's a somewhat tricky spot. I mean, they're going to start stupid Schroeder, who just never gets there, but his price is tough. I mean, how do we not like him a little bit? But man, it's one of those plays that I don't feel great about. Just looking at it, I don't feel amazing. These are the plays I struggle with the most. It's one of the reasons that it's tough these days, this time of year in NBA, because the numbers are for sure going to tell you to play Schroeder. I mean, even when Cade was in, he was checking out as a decent play. And now with Cade out, I mean, he's going to be projected really nice. But I just hate playing him. But I look at the rest of this team, and I mean, Sasser, am I really excited to play him? I just struggle with this team. I really do. So one of the luxuries about having two teams is one of my teams, I can for sure just not play this spot and just wait for later news on one of them, which honestly, some of my best slates this year are just always when I just ignore the early games and just play the late news and just guys get ruled out. I play like every big slate I've had, I think it's because of that. Or you could do it the opposite and just play early. I really like those builds where you play a lot of early or a lot of late. I just feel like there's a lot of advantage to that. Because tonight, I'm not going to do this, but I'm just saying, like, if you liked a lot of early stuff, say you really like Detroit starters, you like Orlando Paulo, and you just shove a lot of this stuff in there. I don't think a lot of people do because they're waiting for news. There's other value out there that is good value. So I think there's a lot of value in going both directions with that type of stuff. So I want to wait for starters. I want to wait for these projections to kind of neutralize a little bit. So maybe let's circle back in a minute to Detroit.
That's fine. Let's circle back here once we get the starters. Golden State and Miami next up here. You know, no Steph Curry. Jimmy's back in Miami. Get Wiggins playing his old team. Let's start on the Golden State side because I think there's more. Well, I actually think both sides are kind of interesting, but I think there's more plays on the Golden State side. You know, Podziemski, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, they kind of all check out as pretty decent plays. I think I like Jimmy, Pods, Green in that order. And I want to play, I think, two of these Golden State guys. I think they're going to be pretty good plays. And then you've got like he's not cheap, but like, you know, Moses Moody's been getting minutes. You know, if you want to go there, he's probably like a last piece in type guy. Buddy Hield's minutes you can never trust. I kind of really like those top three, though, Tony, and I kind of want two of them if I can get two of them. These guys are going to be amped to play just because it's Jimmy in Miami. And I think if Steph could have played, he would have gutted it out. He must have actually been like, you know, I think he tried his best to get back in time, but just couldn't do it. But I think these guys are going to play up for Jimmy here. So I like this game, and I like the other side too. I think Andrew Wiggins at 6'3". You always make fun of me for Wiggins, but the dude has been really good in Miami, like really, really good. And the shot attempts are way up there. I mean, he's taken so his last 4 games, 21, 8, 13, 21 field goal attempts there. He's had over 40 or more fantasy points in 3 of his last 4 games, 61 last game, and he's 6,300. Like, I don't know. I know it's a tough spot, but I think he's interesting. You know, what are we doing here with Miami and Golden State?
I mean, the big plus for me with Wiggins, which I don't usually like Wiggins, but just I think this revenge factor matters a little bit more here, where Wiggins – Curry won them the title that last one, but Wiggins was maybe their best player in the finals. He was amazing.
He was their most valuable player.
Yeah, kind of like how Iggy was when they beat Cleveland back in the time. Even though he did win the MVP, but still, I mean, I think it means more. 6,300. He's shown upside. He just got 60. I don't usually like him, but I do like him in this spot. I think it's a good, and I could see Spo really getting him going a little bit in this spot. The downside is Jimmy going to be kind of guarding him, which is a somewhat tough matchup. I don't that's kind of the flip side, but I do like it. I think it's a good spot. It helps that I don't love a ton else from Miami. I think they kind of go through Wiggins. I like the minutes. So I do like that. And then the Golden State side, same thing with Jimmy. I mean, I have to play Jimmy on one of my teams. Just going back to Miami, he hated this team at the end. Like, he genuinely hated them. So if you know anything about Jimmy Butler, you know that he thrives in these situations, and he's going to play hard tonight.
Revenge is real with Jimmy Butler. We make jokes about DFS.
And he's one of them.
Yeah.
For sure. So I think Jimmy Butler is definitely the guy for me. And I mean, Pods projects good, but I don't know. Let me look at Pods.
He's been pretty good,
He's
honestly.
fine. I just, man, over 6K for Pods. I don't love it. I think for me in this game, it's just Jimmy and Wiggins. I like both, and we got our Detroit starters: Schroeder,
Mhm.
Hardaway, Thompson, Harris, Duran. So kind of what we thought it would be more than likely. So Schroeder, we got the Schroeder decision officially, and since we're on up to lock, we really only have to talk about the two games fully, since there's
Right.
only two that lock at 7. We can go a little later.
Well,
Uh,
do you want to go back to? Is there anything else with Miami, or
No,
is it
I
just
mean, I
Wiggins?
don't love the Miami game. I just those two guys really.
All right. Well, then let's just go back to this spot then here real quick, because now we got the starters. What are the starters doing for you, Tony? If anything, I mean, you look at it, they got Hardaway back, obviously, and then you got Oscar Thompson and Tobias, Jalen Duran, Schroeder. What are you doing with that?
It's just a tough spot for me. It really is. I mean, my plan for sure going into this slate with two teams is to play some early guys in one, like the Miami. I could play Jimmy Butler, Wiggins, some of these Detroit guys, and then on the other one, I'm not planning on. I could see Detroit busting. I know like some of these guys technically have upside, like even Holland. I'm looking at him at cheaper tag. 4,100 though, still did come off 43, but I don't know. I don't see it. I mean, Schroeder's the one that's the biggest decision. Schroeder and Osser, because I do like Osser a lot at 4,500. He has to get a decent uptick too with Cade out. Schroeder's my biggest struggle though, because 4,700 is just too cheap.
So, okay, here's my thing with Schroeder, Tony. We've got other guard value plays on this slate, so I'm going to put him next to some other guys and say, who you got, Schroeder or Campaign.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still like Schroeder more than Campaign.
I
Campaign
think
4,600 gives me nightmares.
I think I'd rather go Campaign, Schroeder or Ty Jerome.
But to your example, like I think like those two, I can just split them on the two teams because I can almost guarantee one of them crushes. They might both crush, but I can guarantee one of them probably does. Ty
Yeah,
Jerome, I like Ty Jerome more than both of them personally.
me too.
Just the way the slate sets up at Portland is a good matchup. And honestly, I just trust him more. I trust what they're going to do with him. And honestly, I mean, you start looking at, and this might be a better way to talk about this slate, anyways, when we're on up to lock. But some of these values, like Scottie Pippen too, I like these
Another
guys
one.
more. Like I like Scottie Pippen more than these guys. I
Yeah,
like.
you just named two guys. You said Campaign, you don't know about, but you just named two guys that you could play over Schroeder.
Yeah, and even guys like Kessler Edwards. I know it's not the same exact thing, but I
Oh,
just don't like Detroit. Like Tim Hardaway. I hate Tim. You did say the guy that I think could be a decent play though, Sasser. Like he's 3,300. It's the type of game where I could just see him getting a little extra run, and you still got the luxury of 3,300 doesn't kill you. 4,700 kills you if he gets you 18 or something.
yeah. I mean, Sasser can hoop for sure. He can definitely get out there and hoop. The problem is like, now you add. So last game, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Tim Hardaway didn't play. So now he's back, right? So you add him back into the mix, like 20-ish minutes. Also, he barely played last game. I don't think, if I remember correctly. So you would think that both those guys get an uptick in minutes, right, Tony? Who are those minutes coming from? Ron Holland, Marcus Sasser, or one of them at least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a little more muddy, I think, than maybe
I
people
just
think.
don't like Detroit, honestly. It's a tough spot. I wish Cade was
Yeah.
in, honestly, and I just wouldn't play the spot at all. It makes it tougher that he's out. Another guy, too, that always just sticks out to me is Isaiah Stewart. Like, I know he doesn't crush, but the dude literally
You love him.
because every game he gets you 20 for 3,500. Like, it's just a good production level for that price. He's way more consistent than people make it.
Yeah,
I think Schroeder,
I don't
though,
love
like,
him.
seriously, though, I'm not a Schroeder guy, but against San Antonio at 4,700, the more I look at it, the more I just think you have to play him. I mean, I'm not saying lock him. If you got 3 teams, I wouldn't lock. But if I had one team, I think I would have to play him. I have a really hard time. Like, look at the rest of their roster. They don't have another, like, point guard. I don't know. I think he's a better player.
Marcus Sasser. They do. They
He's
have
not
Marcus.
like, yeah,
Don't forget, Oscar Thompson is a point guard. He's just a taller, super athletic point guard like his brother, well, not as good as his brother, but similar to. He has point guard skills. So just don't be shocked if, like, that's another thing that we're not, like, taking into account here. But all right, you know, you can play Dennis Schroeder. I can't play Dennis Schroeder. So we can.
Problem is
you're
just like giving up so much. Like, so what do you think's a bad game from him?
And anything in the 20s, I'm living with.
Yeah, but like, what are you happy though? Like, if he gets, say, he got 29 or something, like,
if I played him, I would be happy-ish. And if I faded him, I'd still be happy-ish at 29.
Like the last 2 games, he played 35 and 31 minutes. Like, I don't know, man.
I mean, he's gonna play. They like him. They like him.
I hate decisions like Schroeder because I know how chalky he's gonna be, and I hate how it's easy for me because I got 2 teams. I'm just gonna play him on one. It's
annoying. I agree with you. And he's someone that, as a player, I actually have liked Dennis Schroeder as a player for a long time. I feel like he's starting to hit the downside of his career probably now, but you know, he was always a pretty solid player. Just didn't try on defense for so many years, but always had the offensive game to go with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's just other guards, and you don't even have to be in that game. There's so many guards on this slate, and so many spend down guards on this slate. So, and we kind of talked about them, but all right, we talked enough there. If you had to play 2 Detroit guys, Tony, like your top 2 guys.
I mean, the only 2 that I'm going to play are Schroeder and Osser for sure, but
I'm going Thompson and
they're
Beasley.
2 of the better plays on the slate for sure. I mean, they're going to be very popular, and honestly, on one of my 2 teams, I'm going to for sure play those 2. So I might even just put them up just to make it easy on my core as we're doing the show. Put them in my one core because I think they correlate somewhat decent too, where their price is cheap. I do like them, but the other team I'm for sure going to fade both of them. So
yeah, no, they're going to be mega chalk. Like however you shake it, they're going to be very popular. But I would say for pretty good reason, right, Tony? They're cheap. They're really cheap. So, all right, let's keep going here. We touched on Miami, Dallas, and New York. Man, this New York team has been really bad, Tony. They beat Washington, obviously, but before that, they've put up some stinkers recently. And I've just been betting against them pretty much this entire time. Now they get Dallas, team with no PJ Washington. Anthony Davis got ruled out. So I think they got 9 bodies. But I will say the one thing about Dallas is they've been competing. Like, even when they lose games, they're trying and stuff like that, which is good to see. They just don't give up and everything. The price tags might be at a ceiling point for a lot of these guys, but I don't think the Knicks are. I think the Knicks are very interesting price tags. I like Josh Hart. He's always a tournament play. I think Campaign's a good value. If you want to go Towns, it's a complete mismatch. He should dominate. I like Najee Marshall on the other side. He's crushed in these spots with no PJ, no AD. He's just dominated. So Yeah, I think there's some good plays in this game. What are you seeing?
Yeah, it's one of those spots that I don't I hate campaign. I watch him and I just hate myself. And I hate him when he's even cheap, but he has to be in a good spot. Just look at this freaking roster. I mean, it's tough. They don't have dudes. I mean, I'm just counting their bodies. I like this dude from Marquette, Kolek, but he's not ready. They just don't have dudes. So it's a lot like
If you
Schroeder.
think
It
it's a
really is.
blowout, I think he plays again. Like I think he plays 18, 20 minutes. If you think it's like a blowout-ish.
I don't know if it'll be a blowout though,
I
honestly.
don't think
Like
so.
with this roster, both rosters, honestly, they're just shorthanded. I mean,
I do like Kolak. I wish they started Kolak, honestly, because he would be a lock. Like
yeah,
if they,
he's going to
if
be
they,
in a few slates down the stretch, but
he's good. Yeah, I agree. He's a hooper.
and then Dallas, he's just a little undersized and a little slower, but he's
That's all
definitely
right. That's all right. Nothing wrong with being a little undersized. It's
the
okay.
guy you like that I just don't know how you like him is Najee. Like you love Najee for some reason. I don't understand.
I'm telling you, he if you think this game's close, he crushes in these spots. Like he literally turns into it. It's the craziest thing ever. I was talking about it on one of the shows. It's like these guys, like we don't even realize until March and April how good these guys like that are role players or end of the bench guys actually are until they get look at what Quentin Grimes is doing with the Sixers. Look at what PJ Washington did and then Najee Marshall's done when they've been out with Dallas. Like I could pull this into so many teams that are either decimated with injuries or tanking. And I could find you a guy who was a role player or just end of the bench and is now crushing. And Najee Marshall's one of those guys. Look at the games when all these guys are off the floor. His usage rate skyrockets. And I know his price tag is up there, so it's not like a value. It's not like it was when he was 6K. But go back and look at these games, Tony. 41, 58, 66. Those are 3 games in a row. In this situation, pretty much, where the dude was putting up massive numbers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the Najee play for you this evening.
All right,
I'm going to leave the Thunder for you. They just got too many guys. Like,
I mean, Najee's not going to be owned. Triple J's going to be popular.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that part.
Like, I mean, Triple J is definitely. What's the projection you're giving up if you go Najee over Triple J? It's got to be a big difference, right?
Over Triple J. I mean, it's not like it's only a couple point difference on mine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Najee, but most people are probably.
It's a big difference on Saber, though. My numbers, it's a lot closer than.
I mean,
Saber.
it makes sense. Triple J definitely seems like a good. You know
Triple J is going to get 3 fouls in 2 minutes. Though.
Well, I was just going to say, you know what I would do though in that lineup? Like, I would try and get another Memphis dude in there, like a Santi, Desmond Bain, like someone who could take over to where it hurts Jaren. Because Memphis, to me, I don't know if you like notice this, Tony, but to me, it feels like in all these spots where one of their stars are out, almost like one of them does decent, but one does really good. Like Desmond Bain, Jaren. It feels like one does like really, really good, and the other one kind of stinks or doesn't hit his like ceiling. So I'd probably play the other guy if I could in those lineups. But all right, nothing else with New York. You don't like anyone else?
I mean, I definitely like Cat. I mean, I think Cat is in a good spot for sure.
Okay. All right.
There's not like that many studs on this slate, so
no.
A guy like Cat has to be in play, I think.
Yeah, because a lot of studs are ruled out. So yeah, Cat is definitely a pretty good spend up here. Keep going though here, Atlanta and Houston. This is a spot that I'm not as interested. Everyone's pretty much healthy. I mean, if you want to go to a Trae Young, you can. He's been actually much better down the stretch than he was kind of to start the year. So if you want to go to him, I think it's a I think it's kind of a tough spot, honestly, against Houston, kind of with their, the length of their guards and stuff like that, like Ahmed and stuff. But, what are you doing here? I'm not playing anyone.
Yeah, I mean, nothing sticks out to me. Just looking at these prices, looking at the matchup. I mean, Houston's on fire right now. I see an AP talking about Okongwu, but I mean, it's the 7,600. I just can't do it. I don't see them. And then Houston, I just never like Houston, honestly. The guy that sticks out to me is a guy I never like, Van Vliet.
His price tag is criminal cheap.
And it's just that
So
position,
cheap.
though, more than anything. You got all those guys that we talked about that are like somewhat tough to choose between. There's just so much better plays.
No way it's 500. Like on DK Sportsbook, I swear it was like 200. If you can get 500 on 10 rebounds, that's a good bet. That's definitely a good bet for Najee. All right, let's keep it moving here. Memphis and Utah, kind of touched on it a little bit. Bane's expensive, but he's been good in these spots if you want to go there. Jaren Jackson, 7,800. I would assume more people go to that just because he's 1,100 cheaper. And then you've got Pippen, who's going to be popular. I like Luke Kennard as a pivot off of Pippen. We've seen Luke Kennard in these spots where Pippen's the guy who's projected high, kind of pop off, and he's 4,800. I think he's a direct pivot off of Pippen. If you want to do that, he will be chalky. And I like Santi. I think he's got a better price on the other site, but obviously DK 6,400. I think he's got at least a ceiling at 6,400. So I think a lot of good Memphis plays. I can't play Utah though. I just refuse to play Utah. So Tony, maybe you can talk me into a Utah.
I mean, I can't play Utah, guys.
I was trying to hook you in.
I just look at these guys and I can't believe their prices. Filipowski, I mean Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell, 6,100.
He's been pretty good when
but
a
he's
bunch of guys are out.
6,100. Like I just can't do it. Like it's just part of the reason that I do struggle at times with NBA stuff is there's just certain guys that I just literally can't click, and sometimes you have to. And I know it gets me at times. I know it. But like Filipowski, I can't.
See, but you're like me though, because you'll be like, I know I can't click this guy. So like if it happens 10 times, you're like, I'm probably going to be right 8 times. So I'm going to lose twice. And like, that's okay. I think at a certain point you have to be okay with, you will get bit in the ass a few times by plays like that you're talking about where you're like, I just can't click them. But the majority of time you're probably winning out on those plays when you don't click them.
Yeah.
You just remember the bad times because they hurt you.
It's just painful when like, especially with chalky guys and stuff, like just say you were fading Schroeder, like you feel great when you're right, but man, like it's the absolute torture chamber when you're wrong. And like Schroeder drops 50 tonight and everyone's got him.
Yeah. And like you said, the worst part about it too is like, if he only gets 28, you're not like dead because he got 28. So like you're kind of in that boat where it's like, you're just rooting for him not to just completely bust at that price tag. You don't even need him to go for like the big number. Just don't completely bust. But all right, late night games here. Oh, what are you doing with Jackson and Bane? Are you playing any of them?
Definitely Bane. I don't see myself playing Jackson though. Just looking, I just don't. He's another guy I just don't have good vibes with.
He's the most volatile.
Every time I have never caught his upside either. So that's part of the issue. Like I just always get him and Zion. Like I know they have upside, but every time I play them, I just get absolute torture chambered. And the one guy I like early, though, that just keeps popping up in my runs when I'm running is, you laughed at him too, but Kessler Edwards. I like Kessler Edwards tonight. He dropped a hammer for me a few weeks. He's going to outscore Najee Marshall tonight.
Stop it. How do you say stuff like that and keep a straight face? Like, how do you do it? I want to know. You got to teach me after. That's
He
impressive.
dropped a 43 hammer for me a few weeks ago.
You remember that one time that this fucking got like randomly out of the blue?
He's been good, and he's going to start.
One good game.
It's his last game. Mangone's on my side. Travis, it's his last game. They're going to get him extra run.
That's fine. He can get extra run. I've seen that dude play 40 minutes and get 12 fantasy points. So I'm fine with him getting extra. Let him get extra run. Give it to him. It's actually a good spot for him to get extra run because they're going to want him on like, OG or Hart or Bridges for defense. So it makes sense for him to play.
He's going to smash it on your head.
I mean, they're going to leave him wide open. So if he can hit threes, then he'll crush. So Alec Burks is starting. I mean, I don't know.
I hate when they start dusty dudes like Burks.
Just for like no reason either. Like they always do this shit, and it's like I just don't get it half the time. Like, what are we doing here, Miami? But Spoelstra is a good coach, so we'll see what happens. I'm not playing Alec Burks at 3,600. What are you doing with him?
No, I mean, I just can't. I just can't.
Schroeder is 87% owned in that's the reason why you fade him. If you can
I'll
say whatever you want.
That's another reason to play him though, because he's not going to burn you either way.
But here's the point though. Like if I'm playing one team in that bitch, and everyone else has got 10, 5, 3, right? You are so behind if you play Schroeder because you're not probably beating the guy who just jammed him. Like, I bet JBC jammed Dennis Schroeder.
Oh, I guarantee that. Yeah, I guarantee.
So, like, you're not beating his teams. When Schroeder goes off, you're probably not winning because he's got 10 teams with Schroeder or whatever the max is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not winning. And that's where my brain with one lineup always thinks differently. Like, that's how you get different when you have just one lineup. Because it's really hard to beat them when you have
I always play one
teams.
team different than that, but that's what's fun about DFS is there's so many different ways you can do it.
Yeah.
I always like if you told me it was going to be 87, which I didn't think he'd be that high. If you told me it was going to be 87, I would have played him on both teams.
I think what happened, Tony, is like people were just like, screw it, I'm going to jam the chalk that I know at 7. He's starting. Yeah, he's this cheap.
I just think there's not much like in a million. I just think there's not much downside. Like
you know what though? I think like Ty Jerome is going to end up much lower than we thought. I think that.
And I'm going to get him in there too. Like the team that plays a bunch of these guys is the one I like.
Yeah. Because one or two of those, like I expect Campaign to be Campaign or Scottie Pippen to still have ownership. But like Ty Jerome's got to have like much. I wonder if he comes in like 10% with all the guard chalk.
Almost has to.
Yeah. He's a good play, man. All right, let's get to those late games here. OKC and Sacramento. It's probably not the best of the two late games, Tony. I like the next one we're going to talk about a little better, but OKC Sacramento, we've got Jalen Williams, who's still questionable. Malik Monk, who popped up questionable. I think Chet Holmgren's also questionable. It's just like too many what ifs in this spot. Aaron Wiggins is questionable. And the game's at 10. So what are you doing with this? Are you just kind of fading this game?
Makes it tough, but again, I hate to keep saying the same stuff, but like with two teams, I think there's a big advantage just to holding out for just a late team where you play a bunch of the late stuff and just leave your options open and see what happens and see how it breaks. But if I was playing one team, I like to use both examples. Just I would probably ignore it. I mean, just because you don't know what's going on. But it does give more advantage, though, especially when you know Schroeder's that high owned. You know the other chalk is earlier type stuff, too. You can fall into a really low-owned spot late where, again, especially if you're playing the big millie, you won tickets into it or something, you got to win first place. So, like, you can do weird stuff. All of a sudden, all the early chalk busts, and you end up with these late games where no one's playing them. It just gives you a different path. And you never know when there's that game like Cleveland Portland goes to triple overtime tonight or something. You just never know it. Like, you never know when weird stuff's going to happen. You're trying to win first place. That should honestly be how you play every tournament anyways. We do it with the Millie, but I think I min cash too much. Like, I'm too safe too many times where there's nothing wrong just playing to win. You're on mute or something. I can't hear you.
What I was saying was when you know the clear spots, it makes it easy to pivot like late when stuff opens up and people just can't get to it because they already have a bunch of spots locked. So you could fall into something if like somehow a bunch of guys get, scratched or, ruled out and stuff like that. And, starting lineups pop up like Golden State, their lineup just popped up. They're going with Podziemski, Peyton, Butler, Moody, and Draymond at the 5. So Gary Payton's going to be starting. He's actually been playing pretty good too, Gary Payton. How cheap is he? Let's see. He's 3,900. Okay. I thought he was going to be like 3-4 or something like that. But do you like anything with this lineup, Tony?
I like Jimmy Butler.
I like Jimmy Butler too.
I think Jimmy Butler's going to crush.
DraftKings Sportsbook, I had a no sweat up to $50. So I put $50 on Jimmy Butler to triple double and Josh Hart to triple double, 50 to win like 6,200.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
I think his triple double was like 12-1 on DraftKings, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it's still 12-1, but Steph Diggs to New England. Pour one out for Steph. Pour one out for Steph, people. Just pour one out. Hold on. I got to make sure I don't get my keyboard right now. Just pour one out. That's it was a good career, Steph Diggs. It was a good career.
That's when you know he's just cashing out.
Oh, he's totally cashing out. That dude's about to chill. I mean, that is what do you get for money? I'm gonna look that up here. But one more game left: Cleveland and Portland. Denny's been crushing recently. Had the tough matchup against Boston. I wouldn't hold that back though. And then on the Cleveland side, no Donnie Mitch, so you're gonna get Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Ty Jerome. I think are 3 pretty good plays. DeAndre Hunter probably gets a little bump too, I think, from a minutes perspective. So I think Cleveland's got good plays, Tony. It's just, are you spending up for these Cleveland guys? Because we both talked about Ty Jerome. We like him, but what are you doing with the studs?
Yeah, it's a tough spot where I don't love the studs. Let me pull up the numbers. I just never liked the Mobley price point. Garland feels expensive. I do feel like it's a little bit of a spot similar to the Bulls last night where I don't think anyone really is going to be on Garland. I think he'll be like 10, 15% owned. So not no one, but for the upside that I think if this game really gets cooking, I could see like Ty Jerome and Garland getting there, either Allen or Mobley getting there. And then if Portland can hang in the game, which Portland's played tough. I mean, Denny's had some monster games. Simons continues to be cheap.
Portland can hang. Portland can hang in this game. Portland's one of those teams. They're not bad enough, Tony, where they're tanking, so they're playing hard, and they're playing for that last play-in spot. It's that pretty much like them, Phoenix. I think Dallas is up there too, and they're right there. I mean, they need Phoenix, I think, to lose. I think they need Dallas to lose too, but like they can get in the play-in spot if they win a few games and get some of those teams to lose. So it's not out of the question for them, and they've been playing really good.
They've been playing awesome. Schedule.
Yeah, and this was the game actually. This game, they played Cleveland kind of recently, maybe like 2 weeks ago on a Sunday. So like most people probably didn't see it, but it was like a crazy game. Went into overtime. Portland like should have won. They got I think they got screwed. And then that was the quote. I don't know if you saw that quote. I think it was from Ty Jerome where he actually named the ref that like screwed him. It was like screw this ref, and it was one of the women refs. I can't remember her name, but he said her like real like first name. It's like screw Rachel or whatever her name was. and I was like, oh shit, that's actually kind of funny. Like it's just called the ref's name out like in the press conference after the fact.
Let them know. That's one way to let them know.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny. But this game went nuclear. Like DeAndre Hunter had like 40 something, and I think Darius or Donnie were out. Like it was the exact same situation. Ty Jerome went for like a crazy number. I forget exactly who was out, but it was a wild game. It was a wild game. So yeah, I mean, this game could definitely stay close. I kind of like as you know, betting the NBA is tough. I definitely think it's a better sport to bet like live if you're watching the game. But I'll tell you right now, I've been betting against the Knicks, and that has been working out very much so because they always are favorites, and I don't know why because right now they're not good without Jalen Brunson. And this Portland team, like, outside of the Boston stuff, like Portland's at least trying. Like, give me a 2-1 dog that's at least trying in the NBA. I'll take my chances against teams like Cleveland, who they're good, Tony, but like they already pretty much locked up the number 1 seed. What are they playing for? Like they're playing to get to the postseason at this point. They're not even playing for they already have the number 1 seed pretty much, unless they lose like every game somehow.
Yeah,
so.
Totally agree.
Big T's boy Kessler starting. Yeah, I think that was said already. But was there any other changes in that lineup, or did we get anything?
I mean, it looked normal to me. Kai Jones starting at center.
Yeah, Dinwiddie, Thompson, Marshall, Edwards, and Jones. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I like Dallas. I think Dallas is a pretty good
like
spot.
Dallas too. You just don't like the Dallas guys that I like.
I don't mind Najee. Like, I get what you're saying. I just don't like 7,900. The weird thing is too, like he
fits a team.
Well, that always happens when I make fun of someone, but I don't know.
Someone brought up
shooting guard's the spot I'm struggling with big time. I don't like shooting guard. Like it keeps wanting me to play Desmond Bane, and I don't know. I don't love it.
You don't love Desmond Bane?
I like him. I'll
tell you right now, he's a tough click when he's like 9K or 8,900, but he's gone nuke in some of these spots, like where you just feel like you're overpaying for him, but he just goes off. Like he does have that in him. Like he can nuke for you. But I get it. It's 8,900.
I mean, I'm probably going to end up playing him a decent amount because I hate shooting guard and I have salary to spend and it just fits.
Well, yeah. I mean, shooting guard's not that good. Who do I like at shooting? Yeah, like you probably don't like. You don't like Campaign. You can play him at shooting guard. It's like kind of one of the reasons I like him is because you can play him at shooting guard. I think Luke Kennard, if you're fading Scottie Pippen in a lineup, is a good play at shooting guard. Malik Beasley, that game locked though. You don't like Pods. I doubt you like Spencer Dinwiddie. Yeah, I can see why you like Bane and you're playing Bane. I like go through the whole list and I'm like, wait, Tony said he didn't like half these guys that I'm bringing up right now.
It's tough. It's a real tough position for me.
I would play Pods. I don't know why you don't like Pods. I think
because he never shows any upside.
What do you, he's gonna get like 38 to 44.
Okay.
You can get somewhere in there. Because
why is
he
gonna
does
get 38 for sure?
With no Steph, like he's gonna do it. He's a solid fantasy point per minute guy.
Yeah.
I think you're underrating him a little bit.
I definitely messed up on my team.
white with hair like that. It might have something to do.
I could have played Schroeder on because the team I'm looking at too is the Schroeder team. I could have played Schroeder at shooting guard. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Oh, why didn't you do that? Now I was thinking in my head, I was like, wait, there was another guard that was shooting guard too, but
Yeah,
I forgot about Dennis.
It's just totally like never even.
I personally don't like it. I think Kai's going to pull him out from under the rim a lot, or Cat's going to pull him out from under the rim a lot. And I want that dude under the rim trying to block shots. I don't want him like out guarding Karl Anthony. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a great spot for him, but we've seen him have like big games. I just probably wouldn't do it. Pods and Jerome or Payne and Van Fleet. I'm going Pods and Jerome Sato. Tony, who would you go with? Pods and Jerome, Payne, Van Fleet.
Pods for sure.
Mangone's boys starting off hot. Cat and Kessler, Denny and Wiggs.
I mean, Cat and Kessler for sure for me.
Tony is definitely going. I'm going Denny Wiggs, Johnny Utah. Yeah, screw Big T. Screw him. Of course, Paulo is crushing. Of course. Why wouldn't he? I only played him yesterday. All right. And if there are any other questions, you can throw them in. Clarkson out. News that matters. I just don't put much stock in the Utah guys in and out unless like a bunch of them are in and out. And like it's not enough for me anyways to be like that matters a big deal. Because like I'm used to playing Utah guys when like 5 guys are ruled out, 6 guys are ruled out. Like it's just not as much as I'm used to. So I still don't think it's as big of a deal. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. Phil likes to up the lock show, Tony. Santi and Denny or Kamara and Mobley?
Ooh, the Kamara Mobley's kind of an interesting, like low-owned or lower-owned type build.
Dude, Kamara is like the best defender that nobody talks about in the league.
I like Kamara's game a lot.
Legit.
I really like him.
Legit. He's like the best defender that nobody really talks about in the league. In his offensive game's like improving crazy. I think I'd go the Kamara side of that 2v2. That's a good one though. Mobley and Payne or Allen and Pods. I'm going Mobley Payne. This one can be big T's. Oh wait, Osser already locked. You're stuck with Osser. He already locked. Let's see. Suns traded Kamara and Ayton for Nurkic. Is that real?
I mean, that probably happened if he said it.
Yeah. That's wild when you put it that way. JSU sitting on a... Shut up, VIP. No, I'm not sitting on no damn booster seat. I raised my chair up, okay? How many times do I have to say it? I raised my chair up. That's all I did. Damn you, chat. Damn you. Tony, anything else here? Are you any other news that we're waiting on? Or
no, I'm always so much better at one team. I'm trying to like differentiate my 2 teams while we're talking about it all. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do it besides just leaving all late guys. Because I think that's pretty stupid too. Like you can't just leave all late guys.
I wouldn't leave all 8 guys. There's too many good plays right now.
It's too many good plays.
Way too many. I think that you gotta play some. You could leave a few spots though.
Yeah.
Like leave like a 3v3 spot so you could pivot.
I like clinging a decent amount too when I'm looking at these numbers.
He
said,
I would.
I would spins, though. My issue more than anything with the build is the spins. I need spins.
Play Kamara then. Like he's 56. Don't play Klingon.
I need spins like expensive guys. Kamara's not a spin.
Klingon's not a spin. He's 5,400.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I need spins. Like
Denny.
I need spins. Like, I need spins. 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 I need sp I need more than that even. I need money. All my guys I like are cheap. SGA or somebody. Like SGA is going to be unowned.
Well, you like Jimmy, right? You like Jimmy.
Jimmy's my favorite.
Yeah, he's my favorite too. Evan Mobley. You like Evan Mobley?
I never liked Mobley, but I do feel like in my head, I feel like he's going to like do good.
Cat. You like Cat. Or maybe not. You don't like Cat.
I like
I mean,
Cat.
SGA actually is a good play. He's going to be unowned.
I just struggle because they literally have nothing to play for. I mean,
0.
He's gonna do
No,
fine.
no, the MVP, even though he's already locked it up.
Yeah, he's gonna win. The Nuggets are even just sitting Jokic, resting him. Like it's over.
The Nuggets just sitting them like, should I bet this Najee Marshall to get 10 rebounds and 8 assists is 50-1. Should I bet it?
Yeah.
You looked at the screen. You should have seen your face and like gave a quick smile, and you're like, "Yeah,
absolutely."
That's the best bet I've heard, John. Great bet. You called me John for the first time when I said that. That was the first time you called me John live. SGA and Boner for cheese. Big T likes cheese.
I do.
You like Boner and SGA?
I mean,
I'll come back to you.
I don't like those late guys. That's the problem. Like, I don't like spins. That's what I mean. SGA, Boner.
But you gotta spend on someone, so you gotta just pick the. I mean, that's where like you might just play Desmond Bane and Jimmy. Play my boy Najee. Get in there after talking shit. Jam him in there.
I did have one build where he was in there that I liked. I honestly like the thought of stacking that Knicks game a little bit.
I like the Knicks game.
Like you can play like Hart too.
That's what I'm saying though. These guys like Hart probably doesn't project well, but like he's such a guy like he's completely hit or miss. Like your ceiling or floor, but like when he hits, he's nuking for you. And he's probably gonna be low owned.
Let me see what I can come up with about this. Because I do think there's plays in this game. I think that game could, like, in theory, shoot out big time.
That's like my favorite game.
Like Edwards, I like Najee, I like Hart, I like Towns. I mean, yeah, maybe I should look at it. Maybe because that's what in a milli, I feel like you should play like that too, where you just get in on a game and maybe it just goes crazy.
Yeah, that game, and then adding my Golden State guys in Miami like that. Those are the two games that I like, and you can kind of like bring them together and then finish it out with Cleveland for the late night. Like that's how I like.
Josh Hart could crush too.
Who?
I mean, the good thing about a build like the Dallas.
By the way, you should throw 50 on the Josh Hart triple-double, Jimmy Butler triple-double for good vibes on the show since I gave it out. You jerk.
I'm trying to build my winners here. I'm trying to get all in on these early guys.
All I hear is excuses, chat. That's excuses right there. That's
You're trying to get me to put a $50 parlay, and I got 3 minutes till $6,600 gets locked.
Well, you could win $6,600 if you hit the 50. It could cover your losses if you lose. You're welcome.
Guys anyways, I'm going to put all your guys on one team, Marshall and Pods.
I'm going to put all your guys
on
one
team. The good thing about this build is it gets me off all of the guys I don't.
Yeah, thank you, Bryce. I thought Big T was my boy. Bryce, my man, just put 20 spot on it. Appreciate you. That's heart right there, Big T. That's heart.
That's hard.
Najee, I gotta get the spread keeps moving in that game. It's 11.5 now in that game. I'm telling you, this Knicks team, Dallas is plus 455. I feel like that's kind of crazy. Knicks team sucks.
Nick's team sucks.
They suck.
I really like the team I just built that stacks up that game. It's got all your guys you like in it. With it feels like a good Millie build for sure.
Let's go. Let's go. When you win a millie, all you got to do is call me up after and be like, "Thank you, JSU,
The problem
for
is I got
playing
Schroeder
Najee
on
Marshall."
it too, so it's not going to be the full
Well,
Monty.
you're not going to thank me for Schroeder, but you're going to thank me for Najee Marshall.
The thing I like about it is it gets me off of the like stud range and down one range, and then it like gets me off of all the plays that I really don't like.
That's the range that I like, though, because I don't like the stud. I like that range right under it. That's the best range.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Big T, anything else here before we get out of here?
No.
All right, that's going to do it here. Hit the like button on the video. It was a free video up through lock. RPS 15 is the promo code, 15% off. Big T's got a golf show tomorrow. What's that, 1:30 Eastern time? Me and Mangone will be back for Hoops Winners tomorrow at 4:45. And more college basketball, right? Thursday all the way through the weekend. Stevie Boyton, you, Big Gavin, got you covered for the college basketball winners from Thursday all through the weekend over at runpuresports.com. Come check us out. Use that code RPS15 for 15% off. No play of the day. Big T, you got a play of the day?
I'm going to differentiate my teams big time, but my play of the day's got to be Jimmy.
Oh, that's my play of the day too. All right. I'll just go Najee for good vibes. All right, that's going to do it here. Glad you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back tomorrow. Big T, thanks for hanging out. Good luck in the Millie contest, and good luck to all you in your DraftKings contest and your betting. Till tomorrow, we're out of here. Peace.